All right, we're back. It's Beastrick versus Sporks, right? Yes.
Yeah. Do we know who came up on top on the other group while we were playing our games?
I do not, but it should be updated in the challenge. It does look like Beastrick won that one, 2-0.
All right, yeah. So we have the winners from both games going on at the same time during our first matches of the day. So this will be more exciting. Some of the top players right now already playing against each other, and it looks like they're ready. They are ready, so we'll be able to hop in like right away. Actually.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's ready. This is awesome. Everyone wants to get it going. So we're gonna kick it off. We are. Let me switch to this right seat. See what's happening. Here we go, and we're starting. This is the right map, right?
Yep, this is Copal Mine. This is the first choice of the of this series. We have Beastrick on. Well, this looks familiar. U.S. Armor Beaumont versus Not Sporks, German Infantry Gallon. This map's pretty even for both sides compared to, I would say, last map, and I think both divisions do very well on this map, all things considered. A lot of micro is involved in these. There's so many buildings to kind of move your units around and kind of hide from, and there's 3 different lanes that infantry can go down. So it's a really fun map, I think. It definitely favors maybe sports a little bit more because of the infantry presence and the infantry pushing all the time. But other than that, we'll probably have a pretty fair game in terms of unit choice and micro here.
Yeah, there's a lot of artillery, like, useful spots, right? You can hide them behind buildings, you can hide them up on the ridges, you can hide them down in the ridges, and just basically, as long as you keep a line of sight away from the tanks, the artillery is going to be very effective again.
Oh yeah, definitely. I see a lot of players will opt in for a lot of combination. Like they usually like to do a lot of map control on this corner with the X. They like to have a long range unit with the artillery and tank there, and then they'll just kind of sort of build the same sort of stack they have there around the rest of the map. But we see Beastrick is already just going full on armor presence, tanks on one marker, 2 of them, and 1 on that corner marker, as well as some fighters to keep those lanes pushed in this corner. I'm guessing this might be untrue, but I'm guessing Beastrick is going to value this bottom corner of the map without the X mark, and we'll kind of focus all his units down there. But we will see pretty soon.
That is the easiest lane to push with the Beaumont player, right? With the ATGs. You got
Yeah,
2
I generally
straight
think
lines.
it's a good lane. Yeah, I like that lane. For a lot of characters pushing down lane, I don't know why. I can't really explain it, but it feels better than pushing down the other lanes. I think that middle dip in the middle of the other 2 lanes just added a lot more issues. Like you're talking about the artillery, very easy to put artillery on that wall to ridge in that middle location of the dip, and it's just hard to have any units pushed down there. So I think that is maybe why most units do decide to build infantry and push down that side lane. We already see a tank destroyer from Sporks. That is definitely another Sporks special coming up here.
Yeah, but there's also an ATG from Beastrick out in the mid of the map on the high ground. Basically watching the middle base exit.
Yep, but we do see a second tank destroyer coming behind the other one. You can see he's trying to make sure they both come out in unison. He's going to target that ATG right away, and if they both shoot at the same time, they should be able to easily take it out and then be able to follow up against these tanks. All right, anti-tank gun down, and here comes the battle of Century right here. All right, maybe that was a battle of a decade. It was very short in comparison to a century, but it worked out for Sporks in his favor. You can see why Sporks really likes to do the 2 tank destroyer earlier strat, especially against a lot of players. A lot of players get really caught off guard when they see a Gallant of all units kind of upgrade super early to that tier 4 unit and spam them like this. But we do see a Calliope as well from Beastra coming out. So both units, both tier 4 units on both sides are already coming out at 3 minutes 30 seconds. We already see tier 4 units. It's pretty crazy, all things considered.
Yeah, and those tank destroyers, when he moves them together like that, you get that 1-2 shot right away, which downs pretty much anything, I believe.
Oh yeah, it does a lot of damage against both units. Take out tanks instantly. Almost took out the Calliope. One more shot of a tank destroyer onto that thing will take it out. But this is where the micro comes in. We'll see a lot of micro that Calliope try to get around these buildings, and we also see a lot of tanks kind of coming out, maybe to focus some of the fire from these tank destroyers, so allow the Calliope to get a little bit more free shots on the tank destroyers.
The longer the day goes, the worse our enunciation gets.
Yeah.
I would also like to point out the one customizable thing in this game, you can customize the units, you can customize your gloves, but the flags you can customize to have your emblems, and they are pretty awesome to look at in spectate mode. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, I like both the players have really cool looking flags here. I like the colors on Sporks, got some nice black and gold, but I don't see, they seem to be using the, I guess you don't see skins at all in observer mode, right? The unit skins here.
I guess
they
not.
Seem to be default. Yeah. All right, we got 3 tank destroyers and 3 tanks coming on that that cornered lane. They're all very low health, so they'll probably go down by this Calliope very soon. And there it goes. 1 more left. Only 1 tank shot to take that out. Will not be able to do that. But 3 tanks rolling in, all stacked together. Will also probably take a lot of damage from a Calliope as well. Anti-tank gun stationed very well in the base. We're gonna see another Beaumont Turtle and another Sporks Gallant trying to push in early in this game here.
And so much destruction right there at the gates. Not even able to take down... Oh, he took down 1 tower.
Yeah, he did take down 1, almost taking down the second one. I like what Beastrick is doing with Jeeps. He's actually like sending them 1 by 1 to kind of focus fire from these tanks that are just kind of pushing down a lane automatically. So it allows his other units to just freely fire, save some damage of his tower as well. I don't see many players do that. It's a neat little strat that Beastrick was applying in that huge push from Sporks.
Sporks is stacking more units on this north side.
Yep, but as he does that, Beastrick is also stacking ATGs now. Pretty scary. A pretty good placement of his ATGs as well. You can see he's even moving one from his base a little bit more outward to get some more rain for when those tank destroyers finally do come. 3 on the side of Sporks, stacking as you said. Calliope already getting in position to fire upon these tank destroyers once they get closer. I like both these players are showing very good knowledge of where to place their units at what time, when to prepare for certain pushes, and just so much happening in this bottom lane, just waiting for the big battle. Both sides are kind of looking off from each other's cliff in the distance, seeing all these fire and weapons being made, and they're just both reacting the same way.
Yeah, and I mean, that's why these 2 players are in the round robins, right? This is the top 8 players of the season between yesterday and today playing each other. Master Gaming being the one today that won the Challenger Cup, made his way through that fight. So yeah, I mean, top 7 players plus a wild card, and so I mean we always expect good games from these players.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's just nice, especially on this map where this map really benefits both players. Strengths and weaknesses of their units doesn't really rely on one character being stronger on this map than the other, and this game will just purely come on micro and knowledge of the map control and how to position your units correctly.
And I really like this positioning of this Calliope here because it can hit the mid lane and it can hit the all the way to the corner on the south lane.
Yeah, that's probably it's similar. We're looking the last game where the Calliope was kind of in a little shadowy area on a ridge, but the issue with that area was it was a dead end. But this has a lot more movement for the Calliope to get out quickly in case he needs to run away from like a tank or tank destroyer coming in. Interesting thing to point out is you see Sporks kind of caring more about the map control on this other corner of the map as well as sending a V2.
There are a ton of ATGs out in B-Strict space right now. And there goes one of them.
Yeah, it looks like he only got one. I think that was the Jeep right next to it.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But he's sending out a second
Another?
V2 with the crate, I believe.
Oh,
All right, you got two of them there. That was a good one. We might start seeing a little bit more. And you can see on that other corner of the map, we see two tank destroyers coming down. Gonna shoot at that ATG outside the base, and gonna try to target the other one. One does go down. Sports, he's like, oh, this is a little more scarier than I thought. Sends one back, and even though he sends it back, the ATG
and
just
the
still
range on that
shot.
ATG.
Yeah. He's like, oh, screw you too. You can't leave without a little damage. So these ATGs are menacing. They're just all over, and they're placed so well. I mean, we saw Sporks try to spend so much money putting those V2s to use, but I mean, they didn't do much for him. He hoped they would open up a little bit for his tank destroyers on that side to push, but I mean, over time, it seems like these ATGs are like bugs, and they're just multiplying so quickly and spreading over the wheat field. This is awful.
I mean, even if he takes one down, it's just gonna come right back. I mean, the cost value is not there, right?
Yeah,
It's 28 to 15, 16.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like a Hydra. You cut off its head and to grow right back in its place. It's very difficult. We'll probably have to see some dive bombers come into use here. We do have a few fighters from Bstrick kind of flying over his base. I'm guessing he's preparing for when that eventually happens. 4 fighters now, so Sporks is in a precarious position here. He's spending a lot of money on the he spent a lot of money on the 7 troop trucks and the 1 bazooka troop truck, but they're just not able to do anything with all these ATGs stacking in the Calliope. The lane that all these infantry are spawning on, they can't do anything.
And these ATG are so spread out, but they're covering each other. So even if he does get one with the V2, the probability that he gets more than one is really not that high. Unless he shoots it right there.
That was a really good one.
That
Yep.
was a good one.
That ended up very good for Sporks. Got a lot out of there. Pretty cost effective that time. But still, I mean, it's not opening up much for him. Tank destroyer, he has one out. It's about to get shot to oblivion. There it goes.
Yeah, it didn't really open any defensive. Yeah.
Yeah, they just can't get in. That's like Sporks' main thing. He liked getting his tank destroyers in, but he's not been able to even do that right now. We have 20 seconds till a crate drops, and currently the map control is kind of favoring Sporks only a little bit. We are seeing a dive bomber come out, but that's going to get taken out pretty fast, probably by a fighter. Nope. Good use of anti-air from Sporks, defending that dive bomber and forcing the fighter of Beaster to go back.
It looks like Beastrick is sending a column of tanks after those 2 tank destroyers in the north.
Yeah, it might work.
And the Calliope to back it up.
Oh yeah, that definitely will be the push to stop those 2 tank destroyers. I don't even think Sporks is noticing it. Sporks is doing something else on his own time right now. He's sending his dive bomber to keep taking out these ATGs, and he's microing the ground AA around that dive bomber. So any fighters that try to take it out are actually taken out by the ground AA. So a lot of cool micro of ground and air combination. But like we're saying, he lost 2 tank destroyers in that engagement because he focused on that.
He did get Beastrick got a supply drop, but he did lose his Calliope in the middle of the map.
Yeah, that did hurt a little bit, losing Calliope to that dive bomber. And you know what? Is this
A
good
push?
timing for Sporks? This might be This is really good. He's got 3 tank destroyers. Few tanks. Is he sending out a V2 as well?
Those ATGs though, just stopping that push.
This is one for the tower. Yep, nice. I like that. That's exactly where I probably would have shot to. Not only did he get the ATG, but got the tower down as well. Infantry would now be able to rush in because the tower is gone without taking barely any damage. Tank destroyers are getting shot by this. Look at this Calliope. It's so little health. The fighter can straight that and take that out. He was trying to send out a single tank destroyer to take it down, but was not able to do so. He's sending the dive bomber right now. Yeah. Lost the dive bomber, but killed the Calliope. I think Sporks end up. Yeah, I think Sporks is in a much better position than he was literally 2 minutes ago. So incredible.
Only 4 ATGs on the field now. But they've got so much. There's so much open area right around the base that they've got coverage. I mean, the ones on the far north lane can shoot all the way into the south lane. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely seeming pretty obscene in this game. I generally don't see ATGs multiply so much on this map very often when I play against a Beaumont, but now I'm seeing it. It does seem like Beaumont has a pretty good edge with these ATGs everywhere, especially how Beastrick is just so cleverly placing it. And to point out this Calliope in the middle X Mark II is actually in a pretty safe position because of these ATGs that are just making their way further and further out of the map. It's very difficult for Fork to take out this ATG that's allowing his middle infantry lane to push because the Calliope is taking out anything that stops him from doing so.
Yeah, and that bounding push forward with the Beaumont ATG is what I've been told is, you know, the move with the Beaumont. Just keep pushing them forward and they cover each other.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. A lot of cases, the range, you just can't beat the range. It's like, we've seen multiple times that Works will try to engage multiple tank destroyers on an ATG area to take them out, but then he changes his mind, he tries to send them back, but due to the range of the ATGs, he just loses them anyway, because they're just so much longer range than the tank destroyers.
Got 2 tank destroyers hiding down here on the south side. Spork's at full money, wasting money. What's he trying to do? Looks like he's placing another V2.
Yep, this is I remember when I first started playing this game and Sporks was kind of, before I started becoming the nuke spammer, Sporks was the original nuke spammer. But I haven't seen him do this very often, but in this game you can tell he's definitely realizing he needs to try to like push in somehow, and he's not able to do that with units, so he's gonna keep sending these V2s in concordance with his units as well, just hoping that his tank destroyers will be able to clean up the rest, but it's just not working out for him.
And remember, both these players won both of their first round matches today, so we're seeing, I don't want to say the best of the best, but we're seeing, you know, this is a pretty high level matchups here.
Yeah, I see that correctly reflected on the movements both players are making. Both players are, like, even though we're saying Beastrick, like, yeah, he's doing amazing with the ATG and stuff, but really, he's not been able to push much out of his base. We see him, like, kind of putting his Calliopes in these, like, these corner areas and keeping Sporks at bay, but he's still kind of been on the defensive all this time. I mean, it's just, he's trying to slowly multiply his HGs out of his base, but Sporks is slowly still trying to push into his base, so it's hard to tell what's going on in terms of who is winning right now. And the net worth counters, I don't think, I mean, the net worth counters are just so huge right now, the ATG is just everywhere. So it just seems like Beastrick is winning this game by a lot. But, I mean, Sporks, the way he pushes with the nuke and his units at the same time, it just seems a benefit. It seems like he's always kind of pushing more rather than Beastrick is right now.
Ooh, that's a pretty effective one.
Yeah, not bad, but I'm curious what Sporks will do to actually push into his base. I mean, now that Beastrick is finally sending out some tanks out to gain more coverage, not just the ATGs anymore. We might actually start seeing that Beastrick push I was commenting about, hoping that would happen.
Yeah, I mean, if Sporks is going to keep relying on the V2, that's not cost effective for him. And like I said, even if he's aiming at the base, there's still going to be ATGs spammed all across the map by the time, I mean, he gets one V2, there's 2 ATGs out.
Yeah, I just don't think the V2, like, I know why Sporks is doing it. I get it. I mean, I do the same thing. When you feel like you can't push in somewhere, it's so... it's so endearing. Just want to send out that free bomb out there to take out units that your units can't get to, and it probably is all Sporks feels he can do right now. I mean, the only thing maybe he can not do otherwise is take out these fighters and go full on dive bomber strat. Is the other option, but I mean, it's just been very difficult for Sporks to get into that base, just like his last game.
Sporks does look like he's massing another tank column on the south side. He's got 4 tanks and AA and 2 tank destroyers, but he's not able to get past this Calliope that's just hiding behind this building.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if possibly he should give up on that corner lane. I mean, that's kind of where all the ATGs are stationed to target, right? Like, they're all kind of there. Maybe if you focus on the other side of the map completely right now, he'd actually do better. There's only like 1 or 2 ATGs that can do full firing coverage of that lane instead. I just think it's very difficult for Sporks to keep pushing that lane he is pushing, which is another thing. Imagine inside Sporks' head, he sees that he already taken out the towers in that lane. It's just so hard to give up that lane that you focus so much and focus so many supplies on, and finally taking out the towers to want to really focus anywhere else on the map.
Yeah, but if he sends those tanks down through the mid, through that little, the actual mine part, then those ATGs don't even get shots off, right? Until he gets right up in their faces? Or do they have a little bit of a downrange?
Theoretically, they shouldn't, but I think they sometimes have a downrange and uprange sometimes. So, not sure who's to say, but we see a lot of units stacked. Look at this. That's a lot of tanks, a lot of tank destroyers near Sporks' base. I'm very curious if he is going to keep going for that lane or is going to go for a different lane completely. We see also a few fighters and a dive bomber. Sporks is going all out right here. He's going to go micro god in a second here. He's going to go full on ground, full on air, already sending out the dive bombers, trying to give the dive bombers some fighter coverage. No ground AA from Beastrick. He is just going to keep sending in the dive bombers the best he can. There's no ground AA from Beastrick, as I said before. All these units are stacked too. This dive bomber can do a lot of damage to all these units on this bottom lane here.
Putting an ATG all the way out in that south corner.
We are finally seeing a ground AA come in concordance with all these other units. There's an unbelievable amount of cheats because of how many tank destroyers or anti-tank guns were created in this game. Ground AA being a big deterrent to these fighters and dive bombers. This might be the time that he uses a V2 again pretty soon, I imagine. I mean, that's a lot of stacked up clumped units.
Yep, there it is.
Wonder if he will predict correctly where to go. Did not really get the units I think he was hoping for here.
ATG in a tank.
Yeah, it's pretty, I don't know if that's probably what I mean, I was definitely hoping that he'd get more out of that. He didn't really micro any ground units with that to get any of the units that were fleeing out. So, not the best nuke there, unfortunately, for Sporks. And this ground AA is just taking chunks out of these fighters flying above. And Sporks can't do much because of the ATG presence. That's like it's difficult.
This is how I'm used to seeing Beaumont be played, though, is that, you know, you don't get a rush into the base, and you don't get a push all at once. You get this slow creep across the map until all of a sudden he has full map control, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of the best, I agree with that. The best Beaumont players do this slow crawl of like a mushroom infection, slowly taking over a yard of a lawn or something. It's it's rough to deal against. I mean, there's so many ATGs. How many is that? 10 ATGs, and they're kind of like all over the place. Like, there's just nowhere a ground unit can go. This is why Sporks has to resort to these V2s. Like, there's really not much he can do. Beastrick has just placed AA now everywhere with all these units he has, so it's just so hard for Sporks.
It does look like Sporks is starting to panic a little bit.
There is this Calliope, though, kind of in the middle of nowhere, as well as the ground AA. This is a little curious of a play by Beastrick. Maybe he thought these ATGs will do enough, but you can see Sporks using that single tank to take a lot of the fire from these ATGs. You can see he's making sure they are microed behind the tanks at all times just to ensure that he gets those free shots onto the ATGs with his tank destroyer. So this is one of those times I wonder if Gallon was a US class and he had the artillery barrage, he'd probably be able to do much more with these nukes and his units than the current V2 he has.
I mean, just looking at the unit count, right? We've only got 2 tank destroyers on Spork's side, whereas we've got 10 anti-tank guns on Beastrick's side. It's just, there's so much more armor on Beaumont's side right now. I don't know how you push through it.
Yeah, and I don't even know, the ATGs also, like, they're taking out infantry. They take out the bazooka troopers in one shot, and when there's multiple, they just take out lines of infantry instantly. So not even like, you know, I mean, sure, Beastrick has 1 fighter strafing, but even if he didn't have that, these tank destroyers, the way they're set up, there's no way the infantry that Sporks invested so heavily in the early game would be able to do anything against Beastrick. And, you know, Callan is a quote-unquote German infantry class, so he kind of needs that infantry push to kind of allow his units to get a little bit closer to the base so he can get those I mean, I say medium range in jest about the tank destroyer, but compared to these ATGs, the tank destroyer is like medium range, and he's just not able to get close enough to do the damage to these ATGs with the tank destroyer that he would like to do.
And it costs more, right? It's a tier 4 versus a tier 3, so you know, you take down a couple tanks or anti-tank guns, so what? You've spent more, and you know, got a slower moving, well, not slower moving, but a shorter range unit. I just don't, I don't see it being an effective counter.
Yeah, definitely, and he doesn't even have, I mean, it doesn't even count all the Jeeps that Beastrick can use. If Tank Destroyer is alone, the Jeeps can actually do quite a bit of damage to the Tank Destroyer if that chance happens. Of course, Sporks never has the Tank Destroyer alone, so he doesn't have to worry about that. But just the fact that he has that extra little bit of Jeep power, and Jeep, the Jeeps also tank a lot of shots automatically from these units as well. So all these things in the concordance just allows Beastrick to have this insane coverage and insane defenses no matter what Sporks does.
Beastrick now placing ATGs in the north corner and pushing tanks up that lane. There were infantry taking or doing damage on the mid towers on Sporks' base.
Yeah, it's pretty curious that Sporks is not investing. I mean, he's got 7 normal troop trucks and 1 bazooka truck. It is curious that he doesn't value the bazooka trooper a little bit more. Might be useful in some cases. I mean, it's kind of too late maybe now to invest in that. But throughout all 3 games, this is actually what he's done. He's spawned 7 troop trucks and 1 bazooka trooper every game, and it's not really done too much for him in that combo he set up. There's so many red units all over the map now. It's not even. It's just the infection is growing for sure.
and Beastrick does get another drop. 7 drops for Beastrick, 2 drops for Sporks. He did just lose a bunch of units, though, to those 2 tank destroyers on the north side. He had ATGs and tanks all stacked up, and they all went down, apparently.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Not bad for sure. I'm just curious what Beastrick is going to do, or when he's going to do more pushing. Looks like he's got 2 Calliopes right now pushing that that corner lane. Maybe this is the time he thinks he'll push. How many tank destroyers is that? 6 tank destroyers. My goodness.
That's a lot of tier 4
something.
units.
That's a lot of money.
What is that? 20 each?
It's like 24 each.
24 each.
It's working. Tank destroyer is taking a lot of damage out of those things. One does go down by the 8. 2 of them go down by the 18. But I said it was working, but it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. It only worked for that one engagement, and now those ATGs, like I said, they're like the Hydra, man. He took out ATG finally on that crate drop spot, but another one just literally came back in its place. So.
Is this map 1?
This is map 1.
Is the other game done already? I see now. Oh no, that's from yesterday. Never mind. I thought I saw people chatting in here from. I was like, wow, they finished 2 maps and we're just on the one.
Until we get a 23 crate drop of 1 player, then I'm not done casting. Okay.
Yeah, that was a brutal match yesterday. Oh man, an hour 11 minutes before forfeit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could have done it.
I had fun, but like I didn't actually feel tired during the game, but after that game finished, I felt dead. Like it was weird. It was like such a weird.
Your brain just
God.
shuts down. You're like, I've been just doing strategy, and now it's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just want to like veg on the couch and.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was so like I thought I was doing fine, but then like when I finally quit, it just came to me like how long that game was, and then my brain shut down for the rest of the day. Like I was sleeping, like, oh my god.
Yeah, and you spend too much time in games, man.
Yeah, it's rough in VR.
I had dreams about Onward last night. Let me tell you.
I understand. I've had dreams about this game. Oh, bad. It's bad stuff, man.
You know, they say when you start dreaming in a foreign language that you know the language. Is that what happens in VR? Like when you start dreaming about VR, you understand it. Like that's your second nature.
Yeah.
12 ATGs and only 3 tank destroyers now. Beastrick's numbers keep going up, and Sporks just can't maintain it.
You know what's interesting? I don't think Beastrick has used one single artillery barrage this game. This, like, maybe, I mean, I guess since you have Calliopes, you don't have to, but, I mean, he's already got 2 in pretty good places. I would like to see 1 artillery barrage, like, near these tank destroyers, just to kind of get them moving in range of the ATGs, and then sign the Calliope in to take them out, and I think that would be the game-winning advice for Beastrick.
Would a barrage take down a full tank destroyer?
It'll take a lot of it down. Definitely do a lot of damage to where Sporks would want to get out of the way and kind of panic a little bit. He won't just like keep him there.
He has pushed all of Sporks' units back into the base now.
Oh, that ATG just getting a potch on a tank destroyer, taking it out.
Quad kill. No, 5 vehicles down there. 2 ATGs, it looks like. That tank. Maybe a Jeep.
Yeah, but I don't know. What's his plan for targeting in that location is my curiosity. I mean, he has no
that's
units
in the back
that's
line.
gonna get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Sporks kind of doesn't have a way to get out of this. He's just gonna spam nukes until.
This one should hit right here at the close units where the ATG and the Calliope are. Yep, right there, and the Calliope backed up right into it. That was a worthwhile V2.
Oh, here we go. V-Strict with the artillery barrage coming in.
Onto the
There,
tanks.
that's right there. That's the point where you can start sending stuff in.
All the towers down on the south side.
Yep, he just spawned another tank destroyer. He's trying so hard to micro these troop trucks out from not continuing in the lane. I think he did take out the Calliope. That was. Nope, there it is. I just couldn't see it
behind the building.
Yeah.
V-Strict getting his 9th crate drop.
Yeah, V-Strict also has the infantry pushing into the base almost as well.
Like we said,
surprising.
net worth, not a big, not a huge, gauge, but when V-Strict's almost at 400 and Sporks is less than 100, it gives you a pretty good idea of how much value is on the field.
Yeah, I think net worth, I mean, it could be a very good value for, but in certain games they're not. But this is a game that, when net worth and just the amount of red, like I said earlier, the amount of red that's all over this map, and combined with the net worth counter, kind of shows where this game's going.
Ooh.
I think you only got
one unit.
Yeah, one unit. I think V-Strict should be able to micro this Calliope in a pretty closer position to attack these tank destroyers.
I don't even think he's worrying about it until he gets those towers down. Because the ATG's getting free shots onto the towers. He's setting his ATGs up so that the tank destroyers can't even move in the base, right?
Yeah.
He's bracketing them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Sporks is knowing where this game's about to lead in the next minute or two, so I think he's kind of just letting it mostly happen. Sending his tank destroyer in, knowing he knows it's gonna blow up. It's a slow crawl to be him in this situation. Watching these HEGs just, I mean, it literally is like termites just kind of spreading. It's crazy.
Jeep rush. Oh man, that'd be the worst way to go, right? That'd just be like a slap in the face. V-Strict gets all the way across the map and then just spams Jeeps into your base.
I'd like to see it.
Oh my
I hope
god.
it happens.
Another ATG coming out in the south lane, but it's not being set there. It didn't get set in time to take a shot. One soldier, alone, against the world. Oh, he's dead. Did get a couple of tanks out, but they're gonna get, ATG's taking them out. They can't, there's nowhere to hide.
Yep, for sure. There's just, Sporks, I mean, I thought he was giving up, but we do keep seeing tank destroyers keep popping out.
This is the first time I've seen net worth over 400. This is an impressive amount of units. 14 ATGs.
And 15 Jeeps. Yeah, I want to see those Jeeps just rush in the base. They're not doing anything right now anyway. Let's do it.
Do it. I think it's the way to go, man.
I think it is. It's going to make the tank destroyers focus them anyway. Perfect time.
Oh, ATG's getting base shots.
What?
Quickly taking that one down, though.
There's the Jeep. There it goes. Pew pew pew. Oh. Never mind.
Slowly moving his AA and his ATGs up. Calliope moving in behind the building again. Taking those easy pot shots at those tanks.
Yep, we'll take out that tank destroyer as well, probably. Probably one more barrage.
Sporks is trying his hardest to stay alive in this turtle. No towers, just tanks.
Yeah, you're really seeing the power of the TDs right here. They're able to turtle just so effectively. It's pretty bizarre in a way. Despite all these units just constantly taking shots at them, and all this Calliope even not even able to target them when they're moving that effectively. Just showing true power of a tank destroyer and the user of a tank destroyer god.
We're not seeing any push by B-Strict, though.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He's gonna continue spawning ATGs. He don't mind if the ATGs end up taking out the base instead of anything else. He's fine with that. He's like, I'm gonna get this no matter what.
Yeah, at this point, it's a shoot anything that moves kind of.
Yeah.
Those long-range shots from the corners, man. The ATG range is crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty crazy. I mean, ATGs are one reason I like Nickel so much, so.
Because you don't have to deal with them?
Yeah. Like, you're gonna pick ATGs, I'm gonna pick Nickels, you know? I don't want to deal with that. I'm not about that life. Yeah, I would like to see a bunch of tanks thrown down the lane. I agree with that.
The nice thing about the ATGs, though, is that since they're attached to Jeeps, they spawn way quicker than a tank destroyer.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, the original mobility, like, I think the mobility of the ATG is pretty crazy. I mean, I know they're like stationary after they place them, but the reason why they're just so effective, I think, is like we've seen multiple times this game where Sporks take out the ATG with V2s or calculated strikes of his tank destroyers, but all B-Strict would do is just spawn 2 more, and they would get back to their place almost instantly. They're pretty good about that, and the fact that they can kind of move a little bit as well. Not many players move them very often, but when the players that do move them, they have that tiny 5 movement speed or whatever it is, it's pretty bizarre.
It can also shoot while it's moving.
Yeah, kind of. I think it's. I don't know if it's. I think it's not supposed to, but I don't know if that's a visual bug
slow.
or what. Yeah. I don't know. Sure about that one. I like, but yeah, it definitely does do that sometimes. But that's why I think the game like is trying to check whether it's moving or not and doesn't know because it's so slow. All right, this is the timing for the barrage for sure.
Calliope coming in, barrage coming
Perfect
in, tanks
timing
coming in.
onto the garage. Yep, that's it. And that will be B-Strict taking game 1. Only game 1 against Sporks. Very long and I'm sure tedious game for both players.
2-minute game.
Yep.
Let's look at these stats here. Sporks wasting a lot more money than we've seen for the last 2 days. $43. I haven't seen anything over 20, I don't think.
Yeah, I think like I said, when you're just like stacked against so much and you you want to build units, but you're like, I can't build anything to take out these ACGs. So then you end up like kind of taking a moment to figure out where you're gonna nuke, and that ends up money over time wasted.
Once again, a V2 being in that top deployed unit. Oh, man.
So we're probably gonna see if both players are ready. I'm guessing I would assume they're gonna take like 2 minutes or something in between. Let's see. Okay, no, they're giving picks already. All right. Wait, I think that's the ban. I think that's what. Oh no. Okay, yeah, they're gonna pick. They're gonna pick Hill 512. Where you got the next match pick.
Alrighty.
You can if you decide.
Yeah, we're gonna see if the players need a little break. That was a 42-minute match, but
Okay, yeah, we need to check on.
we're all about that mental health of the players, folks.
Yes.
We can't have league players just dropping over.
Good times.
Hill 512.
Yeah, I think the money earned is wrong for sure. Because yesterday, between our game and Naoko, despite you having 23 crate drops, it said we had like almost the same amount of money earned. That was a little weird.
Yeah, I don't think it takes that into account. And I actually, when they get crate drops, I haven't been seeing their money counter fill. So I'm not sure that's part of the new UI.
Yeah. I know the issue is a lot of the information is client side versus server side. So what the server might see is a digit. The client will be completely different because all of the numbers need to go through the server, and then the server is translated to the clients. Therefore, different clients will have different counters of like money earned and money wasted and stuff.
Yeah, and yesterday we even had where I had a set of numbers and my co-caster had a different set of numbers at the end of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna switch us over to the pre-round screen so you players. Not that I think anyone's cheating, but we don't want to show the
for sure.
divisions ahead of time. Really, we don't want to tell anyone the divisions on stream until after they have spawned their first unit that they can determine what division it is. Because that's part of the gameplay.
Give me 2 minutes. I'll be right back. I'll ready up so you can at least start if both players are in. But I need to do something real quick.
All right, sounds good. We'll just hang out with me.
I swear I'm professional.
Heathen and Master are still on map 1? Wow. That's a long game. What's their time in game? I don't know how to say your name. What? Give me a phonetic spelling of your name and... Okay. 47 minutes. Yeah, give me the divisions. I want to know what's taking so long on that game. Give me those deets, Nalco. Nichols versus Ritter. Ugh. Oh, that doesn't even sound fun. Orvid's Path. Ugh. I'm gonna make a new lobby real quick. Alright, we are getting players in. We will have to wait for our co-caster Bradley though, so we'll see. They are playing Hill 512. So now we just wait. I believe that casters can't join the match in progress. So after this matchup, we have Beastrick versus Master Shadow for the final match of today, which should be good. I believe both players being more on the Beaumont side should be fun. But thanks everyone for coming out and checking out our stream today. This is round robin Group B Final Assault VRML Season 1. So we are just learning. We're working out the kinks as we go for this season for sure. So any feedback you guys have, put it in the Discord. Let us know. We'd love to hear that feedback. We took some feedback yesterday about the delays in the stream, and we have reduced that, or not running any at all, so we can have one-to-one interaction with the viewers. All right, we're back. Here we go. Hill 512. Sporks versus Beastrick.
All right. So same divisions for both players. It's funny because Sports originally today was banning Hill 512 as his maps for at least the first 2 games that he played. However, on this game, he did not ban this map, and Beastrick decided to choose it. So we'll see why. There might be a reason why Sports decided that this map is just not one of his favorites.
I think it's more about who he's playing, what division he's playing against, right?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. For sure. Knowing Sporks, though, he could have just banned a different map purely because he just wanted to say something different or play something different and ban something different. I don't know.
Also true. Sporks just likes to change things up.
Yeah, he does, for sure. Both players opting for the single fighters, pushing their own respective lanes. Beastrick doing the same thing he did in the last game with the double tank, kind of rushing 1 point.
Here come the troop trucks.
Yep, Spork's going for the 3 normal troop trucks. Don't see any bazooka troopers yet. Yeah, it's the first time that Sporks has kind of derived away from his 3 troop truck, 1 bazooka truck today, at least. We see Beastrick has 1 tank kind of covering every point except, except the bottom point. And is already pushing that top lane with a single tank as well as his infantry. I say infantry in jest because there's only literally one man standing there.
1 man against the world.
Yeah, the Rambo style.
He is going to get, or Beastrick is going to get that crate drop. First crate drop of the game.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see what he does with that. I don't think this map is as good as Quarter of the Past when it comes to ATG coverage. And there you go. The first unit that is not a tier 1 or 2 unit is the Calliope. So just going to use all the buildings and all the walls that are stationed all over the place as coverage against Sporks' tank destroyer that he did already spawn as well.
Yeah, not even 3 minutes into the game and we're getting tier 4 units coming out.
Yeah, both players definitely. I mean, Sporks went for the tank destroyer early on in a lot of his games today, but this is kind of a opposite of what we've been seeing for the rest of the games today from Beaumont. A lot of players kind of held off on the Calliopes, but we already see 2 from Beastrick and 2 tank destroyers from Sporks. So it's gonna be tier 4 versus tier 4 game.
I think there's still a decent amount of usage for the ATGs on this, just not, I mean, just in the lanes.
Yeah, for sure. I also think it's because it's such a big map, it's a little hard to get that much value out of ATGs compared to the last map because it's hard to keep track of everything on this map, especially, I mean, Sports got the dive bombers, you can see he's already using it, not really caring too much about the damage it's taking because he has these 2 forward facing, well, he has 1 forward facing base AA that gives his dive bomber a little bit more room, breathing room to keep pushing onto these units on the ground. Dive bomber will finally go down, but he sends out 2 fighters to take out the single fighter that Beastrick did have. Probably see more dive bombers pretty soon in this game, is what I imagine. But tank destroyer is rolling in. And not only that, while this is happening in the middle, Sporks has actually got his infantry placed pretty far in both lanes. especially the bottom lane where it's already taking damage on the tower. All that tower damage in that lane is purely just from infantry. Calipes are also walking out of that lane, and the infantry are also taking some shots at that as well. So infantry, basic infantry, only 3 troop trucks are actually showing their worth already early in this game. Sporks does finally get his first crate drop of the game in that bottom lane. It dropped. There's a tank destroyer about to get taken out by the Calliope.
He is taking tower shots, though.
Yeah, this is kind of what Sporks likes to do. This is kind of his style, is just early on take these towers out early with these tank destroyers. There's not much that can stop that. He probably needs to move one out of that lane. That ATG that Beastrick did place one of in his base is taking pot shots. Sporks just notices, but it's a little bit too late that time. But he does have a second one rolling out already. And a third. Well, it's pretty interesting to see Sporks did kind of take back a lot of the map coverage, or not, he didn't really take over the map per se, but he took out a lot of the coverage that Beastrick was having with all these units. Beastrick only has these Calliopes out of the areas, and I'm pretty sure Sporks, he's pretty good at cornering units on this map. I played against him quite a bit, and we'll probably see that as well. You can already see he's microwaving one on the right side of that house and one on the left side, and these Calliopes are going to have a lot of trouble dealing with this for sure. We see Beastrick is microing back into the base through these one treed area. Very good response from Beastrick, and actually
tanks
ends
coming
up,
out.
yeah, ends up doing very well for himself.
An impressive play.
Yep, very good micro from both players. A great micro response from Beastrick, especially using that trees. A lot of players kind of just forget exists a lot of times on this map, and you can see Sporks is sending in that tank destroyer in that small little crevice. I didn't even know it could shoot through there, so that's interesting.
I was like, I don't think he can hit that, but apparently he can.
Yeah, so that's a neat little trick. I mean, he clearly knew he could do that because he put it so close to that Calliope in that corner. But yeah, nice little spot. And finally, the Sporks V2 first of this game is coming out. Curious to see what he targets.
Takes down one ATG.
Right. I don't know if he took any tower damage as well with that, but only one ATG does not sound that impressive by me.
He had free pot shots. I don't know why he pulled his tank destroyers back. He was able to take tower shots.
Yeah, funny thing is, he's got his tank destroyers on the opposite lane than what his most tower damage was taken out. I'm curious if he's trying to force Beastrick to move his ATGs, because he was kind of using them to defend that other lane that he took a lot of damage on towers. A good V2 that time, took out quite a bit of damage of his defenses. You're curious if Sporks decides he needs to take out these base AA that are so forward. Having a nice dive bomber would be pretty effective in addition to all these tank destroyers that will be able to get some pretty good shots onto the units defending on the base.
It looks like Sporks is just trying to poke from both sides, back and forth to keep Beastrick's defense on his toes.
That's a pretty good strategy, I think, against these ATGs. I mean, he'll just kind of have to keep spawning ATGs in this small base. I mean, this base is pretty small, things considered. And if he keeps having tank destroyers on both sides, kind of in addition to other units, he'll be able to do pretty well with the V2s that plan that Sports likes to use in his games. But all of a sudden, I see a lot of blue units kind of coming outward of the base. Sports clearly had to come back a little bit. He has an artillery unit. I've not seen Sports use artillery units much in the last game, but this time he is using the normal artillery to get some free range. Maybe he plans to use that for the base AA against Beastrick at one point.
Oh, I like that spot. He just put that ATG right out front of his base that can shoot up into the village.
Yeah, that's a pretty scary spot. I don't think I've seen that one before. Seems like a very rare use case scenario, but anything going down that middle lane will get at least 1 or 2 shots from the ATG for sure.
I think he's trying to bait with his Calliope.
Yep, and see, this is the issue. Beastrick is constantly forcing Sporks to micro his units in, and then as soon as Sporks realizes there's more danger there, he has to micro them out, and then he gets some payback shots from the ATGs that Beastrick always places. Yeah, so we see the true worry from Sporks about that one place ATG ended up nuking it, and now big battle in the middle here.
Calliope retreating now, trying to get away, trying to get behind cover. 3 tank destroyers coming after it.
Yeah, I think that's most of the... Okay, another Calliope coming out of the garage. Gotta be careful of that, especially these tank destroyers are all very low health, and they're all stacked together. Get him out of there, get him out of there, and... barely dodges.
He does have an
Good
artillery
case
and a
scenario.
tank destroyer in the middle of the map too on that X.
Yep, how many, he's got 6 now? I'm curious what he's going to decide to do with this artillery unit. He's moving it up a little bit closer to the lane. I don't think he meant to use that for the artillery. He's targeting for the Calliope. That's only 1 shot away from death. If it gets that 1 shot off, and it will, and takes out the Calliope.
Oh, good. Good cost effectiveness there.
Seems that Sporks somehow lost 2 tank destroyers during that, though. Of course, knowing Sporks, he's already just keeps sending them out one by one outside his base, keeping the pressure on for the tank destroyers. 2 of these tank destroyers are very low health. One's about to go down right there from the Calliope, I think. Nope, somehow surprised. Gets a pot shot onto the Calliope. Maybe one more. Nope, is going to finally go down by the Calliope. Just barely gets out of range of that 1 extra shot.
Another tank destroyer goes down to a ATG. And he's down to 4. 3.
Yep, we see a little bit more of air focus from Sporks, trying to take out any fighters Beastrick is placing onto his infantry. Sporks, since the beginning of the game, did double his count from 3 to 6 troop trucks. Has 3 in each lane, so focusing more, as you talked about earlier, about how he's kind of splitting up all the focuses of his defensive units into both lanes. Sporks had a single artillery in this, I could say, top lane, kind of focusing and taking down the 2 towers. I actually did take down those 2 towers with the artillery, but Beastrick finally sent out a lone jeep, sort of take out the artillery that was causing quite a thorn in his side.
Those 2 ATGs, though, are just asking for a V2 in the base. They're stacked literally right on top of each other.
Yeah, I don't think they'd be able to dodge a V2 at all, for sure. I mean, you can see both players, like, a lot of differences in the last game and this game, using the map, playing differently based on the map, especially Beastrick. Not like we don't see 14 ATGs anymore. We see a lot more tanks, a lot more Calliopes. It's a lot of change in strategy and style based on exactly what is needed for the map itself. Wonderful dive bomber usage from Sporks, taking out that ATG.
Chasing a Calliope down with the motorcycle. Oh, and a tank destroyer finishes it off.
Very nice timing, and we got more tank destroyers. This is a very good moment for Sporks.
Yep, there go those 2 ATGs.
Yep, ATG down, 1 tank destroyer running into the base, trying to take up.
Oh, wow. ATG stopping him in his tracks.
Yep, two shots at the one moment. Takes out the tank destroyer that was trying to figure out what to target in that base. I see Beastrick is trying to use a fighter to take out what little health is left of this tank destroyer. He's got to kind of back it up a little bit farther away from the tank destroyer to get it to fire, though. But a few strafes will actually take out a tank destroyer at that health. But a certain bug happened there that allowed that tank destroyer to die. Very interesting. The tank destroyer on this hill is able to take shots at the tower just because it's a little bit higher than the barricades that's blocking the base AA. And we see 2 jeeps, 1 more jeep. Not gonna be able to fire in time. Oh, just barely. 1 more jeep coming, and fighter strafe takes out the tank destroyer. That's great. And that jeep that was originally going for the tank destroyer is gonna take out this artillery unit for sure.
Got a little infantry push on this top side. But
Yeah, a lot
the
of fun
Calliope
cheeky
just
moves.
ends that.
Yep, that's for sure. We see Sporks, somehow his artillery, I said was gonna die by that jeep, survived barely. And he's trying to focus that onto the base AA, but again, the fighter, that low health fighter, so far taken out a tank destroyer and artillery unit. So a lot of fun stuff happening from Beastrick with that fighter. See 2 ATGs trying to take out these tank destroyers in lane with the Calliope, giving cover fire. See, Spork's trying to micro that artillery to finally take out base AA. Will also do damage to the tower just purely from the AoE. Takes
Both of them
both
go
down.
Woo.
Yeah, very cool.
Good play. Couple of ATGs are the only defense right now I see from Beastrick. 1 Calliope, 2 Calliopes.
Yeah, I think Sporks is in a much better position this game than last game. The size of the base definitely helps for his V2s. The fact that the ATG coverage on this map is just not as good as the last map, and I feel like that's the main reason Sporks is able to get so far with these tank destroyers in comparison to the last game.
Yeah, he can definitely push those tank destroyers right up to the base because there aren't any good lines of sight where you can place an ATG outside the base. But the Calliopes do a decent amount of damage across those tree lines.
Yeah, definitely. The Calliopes are definitely causing a lot of trouble for Sporks. That's why I'm curious if we'll see the second base AA go down anytime soon from Beastrick. So we see more dive bomber action to deal with the Calliopes.
Oh man, 2 in lane tank destroyers and 1 just goes down. 2 Calliopes and an ATG shooting at it, and it just melted. I don't know if that got away from him or if that was his plan. The ATG turtle is pretty effective right now, though. 2 on each lane does a decent amount of damage.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of players, especially Bowman players, get so used to these ATGs being so effective in defensive turtles like this. And I think that's why most people complain about my P38s, is because they wipe out their ATG turtles and they don't know how to play the game. So I think it might be a problem with ATG turtling. I don't know. I think it's a little questionable how well they do defending both lanes, especially against infantry.
Yeah, an anti-tank gun shouldn't really be able to target infantry.
Yeah, you can see they barely, like, they target 1 infantry, but because there's like a sort of a concussion shot, piercing shot, it just wipes out waves sometimes. It's really bizarre. I agree, Naoko. I agree completely.
This is another tank destroyer in lane. He's not microing these tank destroyers. He's just letting them go, and this one's gonna get melted again.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I think they're
surprised,
focused on that ATG. It did get a shot off, but but why?
Yeah, for sure. I'm pretty surprised that Spork's not in that one tank destroyer at all in that bottom lane. All right, here we go. Spork's sending in his V2, sending in his ground units best he can. Calliope's trying to escape the base to dodge this V2. Is gonna run right into this tank destroyer. Ooh, that was a good one. Took out.
Oh wow!
6 units.
That's a lot of damage.
I can see probably the devilish glare in Spork's eyes right now. He didn't even notice yet how much he's taken out, but I'm sure once he takes a gander at the base and what he's done, he's gonna start sending in units right away. Artillery is trying to take out this this Calliope. There it goes. Tank destroyer takes out the last bit of it. There's still 3 Calliopes in the base though. 2 of them are 1 shot away from death from a tank destroyer. But you see Spork's already trying to send stuff into the lane as soon as he can, trying to commit from that great V2 bomb he had sent out a minute ago.
Pulling back that armor. Not committing to that push.
Yeah, Spork's realized, I mean, there's too many Calliopes. He can't deal with it yet. He needs a nuke. He needs maybe more tank destroyers stacking together. I still would like to see that second base AA in the forward of B-Strict being taken down by Sporks if he wants to kind of get in more. But of course, B-Strict does have a ground AA station near that forward base AA.
Naoko telling us 216 to 150 net worth when that nuke hit. Oh man, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like it. It's rare to see a B2 do so much damage to net worth like that.
That's what you guys get for talking shit about nukes in the chat. I mean, he's like, oh, let me show you how to really use one. I've just been...
Alright, I wonder if we'll see a nuke as soon as he gets the crate drop. Oh, he won't even get... Wait, yeah, never mind. Yeah, he gets the crate drop right away.
Yep.
There it is.
There's the nuke. Alright, let's see. How many can he get? One.
Yeah, he only gets 1 ATG with that, and I think he's losing a lot of his units. He lost a lot of tank destroyers, some Calliopes.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Kind of lost a bit more than he
I mean,
cantered for.
both players' net worths have dropped by hundreds.
Yep. I mean, we still have the 2 ATGs. That's just going to keep stopping Sporks from entering his base with that ground presence that he needs to finish the game. The power of the turtle. Unbeatable.
It's the only way to play.
It's
Just turtle from the start, and then push out from there.
Yep.
I like this flag.
Yeah, turtling is the main reason I think I liked picking Nichols so much. Having a P38 to just kind of stop turtles pretty easily. It's refreshing. Alright, so we're starting to see some tanks and Calliope actually exit the base from B-Strict, trying to push out against these tank destroyers.
I mean, I think this is the farthest we've ever seen his units, right? This is as far as they've made it on any of his pushes. They're just
Yeah,
there
for
to
sure.
stop the damage to his base. They never actually pushed out aggressively.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of tanks all of a sudden come out from Beastrick. I wonder if he's actually planning to just kind of rush the base with all these tanks in a moment here. He's realized his turtle is just kind of unbreakable. Will he just kind of send these units all mid, skip worrying about infantry, and just go straight for towers?
I know there's a lot of tank destroyers hiding back there in mid, and they're coming out.
I don't know if Sports wants to trade getting these tank destroyers close right now. Okay, never mind. He's got 4. That's definitely enough to deal with this. But I mean, this is probably the best location Beaster could possibly have all these units against tank destroyers. There are so many barricades you can just constantly move around and hide from. Oh, there's a V2 though. But I think that's gonna miss completely, maybe. Nope, he's not even aiming for that. He's
for
aiming
the turtle.
Oh, he's gonna go straight for the finisher here. I don't know. I don't know if Beaster can deal with this. His units are kind of not in the location they need to be the turtle.
He's got to make sure he micros those. He does have these tanks here set up to take the side shots on these tank destroyers as they come down the lane. And they go down. 1, 2, 3 down now.
Yep, tank destroyer trying to take out this Calliope. It's the most important unit to take out. Takes it out. One more shot will take out this final tank that's shooting at it. Takes it out. We'll try to probably get more damage on the base of that final tank destroyer on low health.
Oh, it's got base shots from there. And there's nothing to stop it. I don't even think he realizes that it's happening.
Yep, he's still locking on Calliope. Calliope's going to take it out finally. And that will probably end that push for now.
That was close.
Yeah, it was pretty close for sure. And we're seeing more ATGs set up. Okay.
He's like, yeah, you broke my turtle. Let me just set it up again.
Yeah, I think I kind of hate Beaumont inside my... I think I just hate it.
He's still, Beastrick is still setting up that those units up in that by that like broken down church.
Yeah, I'm curious what he's playing with that. I don't think it's gonna work no matter what he does with them, honestly. I think just the fact that Forks, I mean, he's got a tank destroyers, he's gonna be able to deal with. I mean, he had 2 tank destroyers, and they were able to take out a huge group of Calliope and tanks with it fairly easily.
Here comes a column of tanks.
Got a good, nice sniper shot with that.
Is this gonna hit the Calliopes in the middle or the base? The base.
Yeah, it seems that he's trying to make. I imagine he's trying to make Beastrick think that he's building his tanks to take out this defensive outward tanks, or I don't really know what the purpose of V2 at these timings are. I mean, I usually like seeing a 2 or artillery barrage when there's like a lot of tanks like kind of about to enter a base or enter near a base. But when they're kind of alone, it just I don't know. I don't really get it completely.
It sounds like our other channel has just started map number 2, and they are playing on Maginot.
Oh no.
That's gonna be a long one.
That's Heathen versus Master, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
He's getting close. I don't know what the point of these tanks are, though. Are they just distractory so we can sneak this tank destroyer into the south lane?
I mean, I think it's good to match tanks with tank destroyers like this. I definitely like it.
Oh, the ATG goes down. Base shots coming out.
Can you actually do this right now? Oh my god, that tank destroyer needs to turn around. It won't do it. He's trying so hard to target the right. Okay, he got the ATG that just came out of the garage. They're just constantly going in circles. Too much micro means too much circles. 4 tank destroyers all target the base. They can take it out right now. They can do it, I believe.
Yep, base shots coming in.
Forks is finally gonna take this game with his classic stacking of the tank destroyers that come out of nowhere strat. I don't know how he does it, but he did it
So
after 30
close.
minutes and 10 seconds.
Such a great game. Wow. All right, let's look at these final stats that we are pretty sure are not actually accurate. But Beastrick wasting a lot more money here. Spork's only wasting $8 according to the stats. Still having that V2 rocket as his third top deployed unit. Man.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, what can you say? I think both players they did the best they could on this map. They played the map correctly. Just Sporks came up a little bit on top this time.
Yeah, so I think we can't start round 3 until the other channel's done with their map that they just started. So we're gonna hop over there and watch that. Let's see if I can actually do this little. Can I do this raid command?
Do it.
Is it /raid final? I don't know what I'm doing.
I think it's
Salt VRML 2. Yeah, we're gonna go raid them. I don't know what this does. What does a raid do?
It just forces everyone to that channel.
Oh.
It's good.
All right, here we go. And I'm stopping my stream.